Hey YouTube. So I took a poll and asked what topics you would like me to cover next. And last time I looked at the poll, it may have changed since then, but last time I looked at the poll, there was a tie between seeing some repairs to my new to me, 1962 Barbie dream house, or hearing the story behind the pink Volkswagen Beetle. So I decided I would talk about the Beetle first because I figured that would be easier because it's smaller and I can just drag it in here really quick. I'm in the middle of festival season right now, so I'm really, really busy. There's a lot going on. The semester started, yada, yada, yada. That's why I'm late getting videos out. So I thought this would also be a quick video that I could put together and get out for you. This is also a very personal story that I'm going to share. So I thought this would be nice too for those of you who don't know me very well to get to know me a little bit and learn a little bit about your seamstress and the things that she's into and the stuff that she does. So this is the 2000 Volkswagen Beetle that came out for Barbie. It is in the kind of quintessential Barbie pink, and inside it are two dolls. One is the Barbie Rewind back to school doll. She's got the stuffy face mold. She's got the red hair. I'm going to pull them out of the car so we can see the dolls much better really quickly. So give me just a second. Okay, that was only a little harrowing. These were the dolls that I had sitting inside the car. So I've got our redheaded, stuffy-faced doll that we talked about before when I talked about the Midge dolls and their variants. This doll very Midge-coated, so I kind of lumped her in with that group. I did an unboxing of this doll, so go back and check out that unboxing if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to set her off to the side. And then the other doll in the car is this fella. So this is Dude. So Dude came out in 1988. This is date of manufacture. He was released in 1989 on the shelves. And that's when I bought this guy. So let me tell you a little bit of 1989 Sherry. So in 1989, I was a senior in high school. And my brother, I have an older brother, 5 years older than me. He and I were pretty close, and I'd always collected dolls. I was always really interested in Barbie. I have a lot of my 90s dolls and 80s dolls and 70s dolls were from my own personal collection from back then. And by the time I was in high school and getting ready to graduate high school, I was transitioning from playing with the dolls as much as into collecting them and being a little bit more careful with them. I still played with them per se, but you know what I mean? I was a little more careful with them and a little bit more displaying them and that sort of thing. So I was aware of the collections that were coming out. And when I saw this doll, I just about died. So it's 1988, 1989. Frosted hair is the thing. This acid wash denim, super, super popular. And my brother was always pretty fashionable. And so he walked around with all of this acid wash denim and he had the frosted hair. He was in a contest at one time in Saginaw where he competed for Mr. Gay Saginaw. He came out when I was like 9 years old or something to me. And he did George Michael's Faith. And he did such a great job at it that he won Mr. Gay Saginaw that year. So you can imagine, right? The frosted hair, the kind of scruffy face, all this sort of thing, the acid wash jeans, all that sort of thing. And I always called my brother Dude. I don't know why. Like, just when I was a teenager, I guess I thought it was cool. Who knows? But I called him Dude when we were teenagers. So on the shelves, I saw this doll. So this doll, again, came out and it was on the shelves in 1989. And his name is Dude. He was meant to be Jazzy's boyfriend. But when I took one look at him, all I could see was my brother. And it just cracked me up. So I had to buy it for him, kind of as a joke gift, but I knew he would get the humor of it. And my brother was a collector of things too. His thing was Star Wars. So he had a bunch of the Star Wars action figures, like the OG ones, and some of the 12-inch figures. A lot of that is in my collection now, but he collected a lot of that stuff when we were kids. And so I knew he would get a kick out of this and he would just add it to his collection. So I gave him this doll and he was very touched by it and he got the joke and he thought it was very funny. So he kept this doll through his whole life. Now, the bug, where does the bug come in, right? That doesn't talk about the bug at all. Well, my brother was also obsessed with Volkswagen Beetles. When we were kids, the Herbie the Love Bug movies were huge. And we just loved those movies. My brother especially was just obsessed with anything magical. Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, any of that kind of magical thinking kind of stuff he was really very into. He was also creative. He could draw really wonderfully and he was very theatrical and, just really quite a character. And so he just really loved Volkswagen Beetles and just kind of became his thing that he was known for. And he owned a couple of them over his lifetime. He owned 2 Volkswagen Beetles at various times. If I could find any pictures of them, I'll put them up, but I don't know if I have any pictures of his old bugs. But he had 2. He had a Volkswagen Rabbit at one point. He just was obsessed with Volkswagens. And so it just kind of became part of his iconography, if you will. And when I was a kid growing up, when I was in high school, I had long red hair. I wore glasses, and I always loved Midge. Midge was always kind of my favorite doll. So, I kind of saw these 2 together and they kind of reminded me of like me and my brother when we were kids growing up. So in 2015, unfortunately, my brother died out of turn from heart attack. He was 48 years old, and it was very tragic. He just dropped at work. The doctors later say after his autopsy, they say that he probably never felt anything. He was probably dead before he hit the ground. So that's a small consolation. This, as you can imagine, threw my family into turmoil. My mom happened to be in town at the time. She lives in Texas now. She had moved she came up here to visit. And, it was just a really tumultuous time. We had a lot going on and it was a real whirlwind of, you never know when the last time you see somebody is the last time. And I remember going through his things and going through his portfolios and all of his artwork and taking his artwork off the walls. And all I could think was like, someday this is going to be me, someday my stuff is going to be just a bunch of boxes in somebody's hallway. And it was just really, I don't know, it was really hard. And if you've lost anybody close to you, you know what I'm saying. Sorry if I get a little verklempt. It's still very, very much with me, even 10 years later when I'm recording this. Anyway, so as I'm going through his stuff, and it's kind of the last day of us packing up his stuff, one of his friends tells us, because he lived in a big mansion in the old west end of Toledo, and one of his friends tells me, he had some stuff down in the basement. There's a little basement storage space. So I went down there, and I found some of it was damaged, really badly damaged with mold. But I found this doll down there, and I knew I had to rescue him. He was covered in mold. If I could find a picture, I'll put it up for you. But he was covered in mold and in really bad shape. So I washed him up, scrubbed the mold off of him, cleaned up his clothes, and got him redressed. His shoes, unfortunately, fell apart. So these are temporary shoes until I can get him some new sneakers. So I had him, and I was trying to think of how I was going to display him because, he now, makes me think of my brother when we were kids. And then I got this bug. It came up at a local auction house for sale, and I got it for very, very cheap. And it's in good shape. It's missing its suitcases. These came with a bunch of suitcases and stuff. It's missing the suitcases. It's missing the key to open the back, but you can kind of muscle it open. It doesn't hurt anything. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Yeah, it pops open, but there is a key that trips that little latch that I keep thinking I'm going to get a replacement to on eBay one of these days, and I never have. But it had both of its mirrors, and that's a pretty big deal. Usually these are broken off on a lot of them, and they're very hard to replace. The door's still open, pretty sharply, like it doesn't seem like it's been played with very much. It has its seatbelts intact. I love all the detail inside. I don't know if you can see this, but there's like so much going on. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit. Like, look at how cool that is. Like, I remember, so my brother, my friend, and I took one of his Volkswagen Bugs to Toronto from mid-Michigan. I can't even tell you how long of a drive it was. 6 hours, something like that, 6-8 hours. We drove, we were young, we were all teenagers. We drove to Toronto from our home, and he had a 73 Super Beetle with an auto stick. Don't ask me what that means. I don't really know what an auto stick means. All I know is that it never worked right, and it slipped. It would slip out of gear. So to keep it in gear all the way to Toledo, somebody had to hold it in the high gear when he was on highway speeds. So, and I didn't know how to drive at the time. I did not know how to drive a stick. I still don't know how to drive a stick. Roast me in the comments. That's fine. But I never learned how to drive a stick. I'm just of that generation. But he and my friend did. And so it was between Dan, that's my brother's name, and our friend holding the stick shift. So here's my friend from the back seat with his hand up here holding the stick shift in place. It was a fun adventure driving all the way in a Volkswagen Super Beetle. 3 grown people, right? It was a good time. My friend, it had been his 21st birthday, so he was passed out in the back seat with a hangover for most of it. I'll see if I can find some pictures of those adventures. It was so much fun. So anyway, there's also supposed to be the vase with the flower in it. I don't remember. Oh, I think that's up here on the dash, kind of over here. But I'm missing the flower. I just need to find one. I like that it's got a little drink holder. Maybe I'll see if I can find some Coke cans or something, or maybe I'll make some to put in the... So anyway, so I saw this bug, and I just, oh man, you know, Dan just always wanted to have like one more Volkswagen before he died, and he just never was able to kind of pull it together. He had a lot of mental health struggles that he was dealing with, and, you know, it's neither here nor there, but it kept him from being able to achieve a lot of things he should have been able to achieve, unfortunately. But when I got the bug and I had Dan here, you know, my dude doll, and then I saw this girl and I thought, I mean, I was never this skinny, but other than that, she really reminded me of me, and I even kind of dressed this way, like I dressed kind of funky back in the 80s, and with the long red hair, like, I'm like, she's kind of reminds me of me. So that's why I have them in the bug, but that's the story behind the bug, is this is me and my brother in his Volkswagen Beetle forever, driving around, which we did a lot of, just cruising around. There's not a whole lot to do in a little town in mid-Michigan. So we would just cruise around in his car. And I miss him. So this is how I keep him close. Anyway, I know it's a short video. Sorry I got kind of emotional at the end. I hope it's not too much. I may reshoot this. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who subscribed. Any, you know, comments, any subscriptions, anything like that really helps me in the algorithm so that other people can see, you know, my videos, and they've been gaining some more traction, which just really means to the world to me. This is something I would like to do, is I'd like to have the time to be able to do more of this and to be able to share more of these stories with you. So I've really made myself emotional. I think I need to end the video. So thanks for watching. Do all the cool YouTube stuff, and have a great day, and hug the people close to you. Bye.